What's up, YouTube? In this video we're going to be heading up that way, talking a bit about history. So I'll explain what it is and a bit about it when we get up there, so let's go. Oh, by the way, it's called Crockern Tor. Crockern Tor is rich in mining history, and it once served as the meeting point for the Stannery Parliament. So the Stannery Parliament was a governing body for tin miners up on Dartmoor, and they comprised of people from the Stannery areas on Dartmoor, which were Chagford, Ashburton, Plympton and Tavistock. The earliest recording of the meeting was in 1494, where 24 representatives were required to summon here at Crockern Tor by 8 AM, and it's here at that time on that day that they laid down the rules and regulations for tin mining across Dartmoor. The Stannery Parliament met up a total of 10 times up until 1703, and there was a possible 11th recorded in 1749. This rock formation just down here, this is known as Parliament Rock. So let's get down there and have a look, shall we? Here we go. So like I said, this is called Parliament Rock, and this is where the Lord Warden would sit during the meetings. Now the Lord Warden was the chief head of the Stannery Parliament, and he would act as the liaison between the miners and the Crown. In fact, in 1600, Sir Walter Raleigh was the Lord Warden, and he sat here. So I am actually sat where Sir Walter Raleigh once sat governing meetings. That's pretty cool. So Dartmoor was actually designated as a stannery area, which kind of meant that it was a mini state within the state, and they had their own laws, customs, and even a jail. And that meant that the tin miners up on Dartmoor were above common law, basically. Although being a tinner might have sounded appealing, because you were, you know, effectively above the law. You couldn't really get punished for anything other than things such as you've stolen something or you've murdered someone or assaulted. But, you know, back then they had some really trivial laws. But it may not have sounded as glamorous as it is, because the punishments dealt out by the Stannery Court were quite severe. For example, there are references saying that if a tinner was to bring his tin ingot to market and it was of poor quality, the punishment for that would be to have some of that tin melted down and poured down his throat. So, you know, that's not really not going to be nice, is it? Another thing would be, for the third offence of tax evasion, they used to be taken to their tin works and they would have a knife go through their left hand and pinned up against a sign or something, I think it was, and they would be left there to free themselves. So again, not very nice. Or you could have been sent to Lidford jail, and they had a sort of hang first, judge later approach, so, you know, that's not ideal either. And there were some other punishments, a lot less brutal, but still severe, and they were things like having your property repossessed, or banishment, or kicked out of the miners' guild. So yeah, it wasn't all peachy for miners back then. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much everything I can really tell you about Parliament Rock and the relation to Crockern Tor. I mean, if you do want to read more about it, you can, and I'll leave a link in the description of the website where I got all my information from. I did read it all, but it was far too much to cram into a video, and I definitely wouldn't have remembered half of it. But nonetheless, it is quite an interesting thing to read, because it is actual history and it's not just myth and legend. It's actually been recorded, most of it anyway. Anyway, enough about the history of this place. Let's go see what we can see, if that makes sense. There are quite a few tours up here that I do want to get onto, but today's not the day for it, because the sun is obviously setting and I just don't have time. So in front of us, I think that is Longford Tor, and Littleford Tor is just in the dip below it. You can't really see on camera. And then I think this one is Higher White Tor, just in the back. And on this side to the left, you got the Bear Down Tors. And there are a few more up this way, but I'm not entirely sure what they are. But I'm sure we'll get to them eventually. And you can't see it down there, but just in the valley is Wisman's Woods, which is a place that I do actually want to get to as well. It's meant to be quite a nice place to visit. The view behind me is just beautiful, especially with that sunset coming down. You know, it's really easy to get to as well. Just over there, that's Belvoir Forest and Belvoir Tor. So yeah, not too far out the way for me anyway. It's about, I'd say Belvoir is around sort of the middle of the moors. In fact, I believe, going back to the history, because this was the meeting point of the Stannery Parliament, this was deemed the middle of the four working areas. So I guess you could class this as the middle of the moors maybe as well. I don't know. But yeah, nonetheless, look at the view. Beautiful. And the road is just down there. It's a 5-minute climb up a hill. Not too hard at all. Anyone can do it, even your nan. So that is pretty much it. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please consider subscribing to the channel for more hiking, wild camping and gear reviews. Hopefully I'll see you all next time. Hopefully for a camp. I want to go camping again. I've got the real bug for it all of a sudden. Anyway, I'll see you next time. See you later.